let's get into it. How much did it cost us? Was it worth it? Who's angry at who? Who's pointing the finger? I don't think anyone's surprised about any of that stuff. I'm going to quickly play one of the clips breaking the news about how much the break fee was for Nicky No Boats, No Boats. But then I also really want to show the Stuff article or the Stuff video because I think they did a better job of not playing the both sides thing of like showing two sides of the argument and be like the opposition said this. It was more just like they did what a lot of us have been calling for recently, and that the media don't go far enough to debunk or challenge what people have said in the past. So things like I've seen circling around, I think thanks to Mountain Tui, who pointed out that ACT had even a video to be like, get your jabs. If you want to participate in society, maybe you should get jabbed. And then, no jab, no dole from Winston Peters.
Yes.
So I think we've seen that actually come out, but I'd like to see that from mainstream media because, a lot of us who are lost in the source see Mountain Tui, but it's really the media's job to put the information to people as well. And I don't think there's any bias in that. I think it's just purely from I think it's misinformation at this point because, and it's hypocrisy. And they do it for other things as well, where it's like, well, 6 months ago or a year ago, you had a policy that was this, or you've changed your mind. But if they never put that towards the MPs who've changed their minds, being populists and following whatever people want to get votes, if they don't challenge them, then it doesn't get back out there, and you can't challenge the misinformation, and it also gives the MPs an opportunity to respond to that as well and clear that up and be like, oh yeah, I totally voted for that, but here's why it's different now. And if they can't come up with a good enough reason, then that's on them, which I'm pretty sure they could spin something, but good enough reason, I don't know. Right. For some reason, I can't find the exact article. I don't know what's going on. Hang on, I'm going to check this through here for a second and I'll find it. But I'm going to play you the... I'll play you the video from... I was going to say RNZ. It's not RNZ. One News. I'm going to play you the video from One News because we hear from Chris Finlayson, who's been on the show before about this particular topic. He's from the Maritime Union, and he's got some very choice words. He doesn't mince his words in this, and I actually really appreciate it, but this is probably the best part of this particular video from One News. But I'm going to play the Stuff article afterwards because I think they do a better job of not showing both sides, but just being a bit more... adding more to the information that we need to hear. What is up with my computer? What are you doing? Okay, thank you. I'm trying to put things on the screen. I'm having a time. Okay. All right. Let me know if you hear this. You should be able to.
Teddy's coming off the run, and again, if Nicola Willis hadn't done that stupid thing, these guys would have a job because those ferries would be here.
All up, Hyundai received $78 million in a previous deposit and part settlement payment, plus the $144 million break fee, bringing the total to $222 million. Add to that the $449 million spent on landslide infrastructure, project management and wind-down costs, and the cancelled IREX project has seen $671 million down the drain.
So just on that numbers, and I don't know if someone in the chat can clear it up for me, but I was trying to figure out what the $144 million break fee was. Actually, no, I can see it here now. Actually, it makes more sense. So the deposit in the part settlement, so that was the deposit that Labour must have paid on it. The part settlement to break it, I believe, cost the $78 million. Then on top of that, they paid a fee for all of the stuff that Hyundai had already built and the contracts and everything that they had done to get this delivered on time and start building it, because they had started building it. So that's another 144 million on top of that. Then the landslide infrastructure has, I think, been. I think Craig Rennie went through with as much information as he could gather what was inside of that 449 million, but there is actually nothing, I don't believe, saying what exactly that landside, I hate that they use landside because it looks like landslide infrastructure as in like, brr, and I'm like, no, it says landside. What that's all made up of, but the general consensus, I think, is it's all the consultation fees, it's all of the, it's the prepping for it. There'll be a lot of stuff in that, but I imagine its majority is planning, consents,
wages for people to do all of the shit.
Wages for
try and organize it all. Yeah, which is
all
ridiculous when we need aerial fire trucks that only cost 2 million. There's a lot of fire trucks in that.
There is, and there's a lot of guns that the police need as well. There's that story came out today as well, which was quite interesting. Anyways, carry on.
Okay,
that's an aside. That's an aside. I didn't paint that very well. That's an aside. We'll come back to it.
Some left field at me, Jesus Christ.
I need to clear that up. That's right. We'll come back to it.
It was a knee-jerk response by Nicola Willis, and her recklessness has now cost New Zealanders hundreds of millions of dollars.
Where's the accountability there again for Nicola Willis, burning close to $700 million?
Look, the Maritime Union has got great news coming their way. We're getting them 2 great new ferries with the infrastructure to go for it.
One News understands 6 shipyards are in the running for the contract for the new ferries, with the deal expected to be signed by the end of the year. Mikey Sherman, One News.
So that's the TV One article video that they did, but that basically gives you the overview. And I do like. Actually, I feel like there was another thing from Chris Phillinson, because I think there was something he said that was just like, he did not mince his words, and I really appreciated it. Let's see if it's this wee bit here.
He's actually done a very good job down there.
But the Maritime Union is scathing of Nicola Willis's original decision to cancel the project. And with the Aratere ferry, which ran aground in June last year, retiring on Monday, dozens of workers will be without jobs.
They're getting made redundant because the Aratere's coming off the run.
Yeah, it's basically the same again.
I didn't even realise that was a part of it too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the people that worked on the fucking boat.
Yeah.
Bruh.
I'll play this again, seeing as we've got here.
And again, if Nicola Willis hadn't done that stupid thing, these guys would have a job because those ferries would be here.
All up, Hyundai received.
Yeah, just reiterating that. For a government that's all about it's all about job creation and infrastructure and all of these things. They missed an opportunity for a big dub. That is the stupidest decision. I know what Winston Peters is saying now, and I'll show you in a second what he said before as well. But I do remember that it was revealed, at least sort of rumors and sort of backroom staff saying things, but essentially he said to Nicola that this is on your head. And as we know, that would make sense because the communications that the OIAs revealed were very much, a few minutes before texting the South Korean ambassador, I think it was, or ambassador to South Korea. And just like, FYI, by the way, we're cancelling this massive Hyundai contract in 10 minutes.
Fucking hell.
So have your say, Magenta. Anything to add to that?
I mean, I guess it just feels like cool. At least now we know how much the total value of everything is, but it feels like they've just set fire to everyone's jobs and then they still continue to say that it's fucking Labour's fault. And I don't honestly at this point even care about whose fault it is. I care more about the people who have had jobs and are going to have to actually try to live off the money that they will get from work and income. Because a lot of people, especially who have, jobs like that, they've already built their life up. They've probably got certain things that they pay for, and they have to have a certain amount of money to keep up that lifestyle. And then they're going to have to try and go on the benefit just because this government decided that it wanted to cut its nose off to spite its own face to say, oh, well, Labour bad. It's just fucking infuriating. They're shitting on workers, they're shitting on Te Reo, and we can't fucking do jack shit about it other than go, please keep going, please keep trying to fight, please share this thing, please submit on this thing. It's exhausting. And I'm just over it. I'm sick of them wasting money and then not actually being held accountable. Because, like you say, it's not like mainstream media journalists push back on a lot of these really important parts. We should be focusing more on in that story all of those workers who are going to lose their jobs as of Monday, or all of the people who could have got jobs had they actually invested the money for the upgrades to the infrastructure. They could have stimulated the economy. They could have created jobs. Instead, all they said is Labour bad, too much money, while also handing over billions of dollars to landlords. And B is a big fucking number. That 671 million is small compared to $1 billion. But it's still really important, and it should have, all these things shouldn't be happening. I'm just, yee. It's just, they're really, really just pulling the fingers to everybody.
Yeah. Well, shall we have another look at some more information about this? I think the stuff one also shows a little bit more about the numbers also. Need to do this because this is annoying me. Technology, man. I need another
While
screen.
you do that, I can read a couple of these comments that are coming through.
Go for it. Do that for a second.
So this one here, there is a 13-week stand down period. There are chances that based on the type of redundancy, how much money they actually get from, say paid leave accruing, but most likely, yeah, they will be put on a 13-week stand down. They will have to rely upon whatever money they get paid out of their redundancy and their possible holiday pay and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, another great thing there is that, yeah, they're putting more people into that process.
Yeah. Very, very shit. Right, let's have a look a little bit more into the numbers here.
The shipyard, the total break fee released today. $78 million was paid to the shipyard as a deposit. $449 million went on port infrastructure, project management and wind down costs when it was cancelled. And today's announcement of $144 million to the shipyard for cancelling the contract takes the total to a whopping $671 million. Despite that enormous figure and not much to show for it, Winston Peters is actually patting himself on the back for saving the taxpayer money. You see, $300 million was budgeted for that latest contract break fee. It didn't cost that much, so he's actually saved $156 million for other government projects. Finance Minister Nicola Willis wasn't available.
I just realised that sounds, and I know this is misogynist, but it sounds like girl math when you go shopping and you see that it's like buy one get 50% off,
yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit, I'm saving 50% on one of my items. That means instead of paying $200, I'm spending $150. I've just saved money. It's like if you bought one of those pieces, you would have saved. If you didn't buy any of it, you wouldn't have lost $150. If you bought one item, you would have saved $50. But instead, you bought two items for $150. And it's like, you didn't save any money. You're still spending. But if you didn't really go in for the second item, you could have not spent an extra 50. And it feels like girl math that they've just done there of like, oh, it could have been. We put aside $300 million for this thing that we could have not wasted all of that money at all. But it already cost 144, so well done us.
Right.
Anyways,
He saved $156 million for other government projects. Finance Minister Nicola Willis wasn't available today, but in a joint statement with Winston Peters, she took a dig, saying the settlement ends yet another sorry chapter in the story of the previous government's mismanagement of the Crown's books, adding that it signed up to purchase 2 big new ferries without giving sufficient consideration to the port infrastructure needed to support ships of a much bigger size. But who from the government of the day signed up to it? Winston Peters did in May 2020, announcing bigger, better ships with new technology, saying the funding for the landside new terminal infrastructure, including rail and vehicle marshalling yards, will create hundreds of local construction jobs.
I also appreciate that they made it land dash slide. Side! Fuck now. Land dash side.
And you still couldn't say it. Nah, just kidding. But also,
I'm so used to them saying landslide costs, I'm used to them saying that shit, so it gets stuck in there.
that quote though from just before, it literally, so I'm like, oh, you've got the big beautiful Bill in fucking America, and he's coming out with his big beautiful boats.
Bigger, better ships with new technology.
Big beautiful boats.
And Nicholas said it signed up to purchase 2 big new ferries without giving sufficient consideration to all of the jobs that it's going to create.
Right? Big ships need more people to run it. Means more job.
More population, more millionaires moving here means more people to transport. More people means more infrastructure required. More people means more everything. We need bigger.
Yeah.
Long-term thinking, guys. Long-term thinking. All right, continue.
Terminal infrastructure, including rail and vehicle marshalling yards, will create hundreds of local construction jobs.
Winston Peters was there when IREX was launched. I think this government is a hypocrite. They've time and time again have said that they're here to make things better. Actually, they've made things worse.
But Peters claims it wasn't him, saying Kiwi Rail signed the letter of intent for those ships in December 2020, and Labour government ministers Grant Robertson and David Clark signed the major transaction approvals in June 2021, adding they were both after the election in October 2020. Since he's been back in charge, Peters has launched a new ferry project with smaller ships and...
So basically, he was championing it in 2020, just before the election. Then all of a sudden, no, it's not me. It's because these other 2 signed off on it.
It wasn't me.
But so what happened in between, in those 6 months? Like, surely nothing major changed. Because it sounds like from what I'm hearing here,
Well, it would have been the
is that he was
election.
under the understanding that it would be new terminal infrastructure, including rail and vehicle marshalling. So he knew the scope of the job. It didn't blow out in that 6 months. He knew what it was, and he was championing it because of all the local construction jobs it would create.
Yeah.
So if he came out and said, well, I wasn't expecting it to be as expensive as it was, and it wasn't me, because 6 months later they signed it then, and things must have changed since then. The only thing he could point to, the same thing that National keeps pointing to, is that the budget blew out because of the infrastructure costs that were required. So if Peters came out and said, I didn't sign off on those massive infrastructure changes, then that's just a bold-faced lie. He can't even make that argument.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, there's probably 2 factors to this. One, there was the 2020 election. So that first statement came from the beginning of 2020. This, what the actions of June 2021 were post the 2020 election, which Labour got a majority and didn't need to form a coalition to form a government. So that basically meant he went from trying to be like, oh yes, please include me in your coalition because I just want all the attention all the time and I'm important, so please love me. And the second thing is that, this is typical Winnie. He just says what works for him at the time. I've only ever known Winston Peters to be like that. He just basically says whatever he thinks is going to make him seem the most favorable to whoever he's trying to appeal to. At least that's my thoughts.
All right, I'll play the end of this and then we'll continue on. Also, Barbara, just
I know, right?
Fucking
Love her.
killing it. Doing
Kiwi
great.
Rail signed a letter of intent for those ships in December 2020, and Labour government ministers Grant Robertson and David Clark signed the major transaction approvals in June 2021, adding they were both after the election in October 2020. Since he's been back in charge, Peters has launched a new ferry project with smaller ships and minor upgrades to existing port infrastructure. They won't look like these, a dream that's been sunk, taking $671 million down with it.
We
Wow.
love the puns, don't we? We always love the puns. No, I don't want the
I
next video.
mean, yes, but that felt like it was rubbing salt in the goddamn wound. Like, jeez. Hurts.
Does hurts. Anything more to say on this particular topic?
Fuck Nicola
I'm gonna
Willis.
fix my internet. Fucking Willis.
Oh no.
Actually, no. Tell you what. Before I fix my internet, someone who did have something to say, or some people that had something to say. Someone mentioned this before, but r/conservative Kiwi, which is a hellhole that I do not recommend anyone goes to because you will
I
just
was
get
gonna say that
pissed
sounds
off
like a
and
bad time.
just don't look at the other side. What I find really interesting here, right, is if you know anything about r/conservative Kiwi, the subreddit, like I just said, it's not a nice place to be. But you would assume that a good number of people on here would be like, yeah, saving money, buh. And there might be people in or on r/conservative Kiwi that are a bit like Chewie. He likes to go on there and challenge people.
Yeah.
He likes to feed the trolls every now and then. But if you read some of these things, it's not very favourable of National's decision here. So, like, whether or not this means we are quite incompetent nation, aren't we? I don't know if they're talking about the fact that we tried to spend all the money, or the fact that we cancelled it. And someone said, yes, we are. And then someone says, hey, don't put this on us. That was completely National and Willis's fault. Well, I guess the majority did vote for this incompetent right-wing government, but that was only 53% of us. So that's clearly someone who's on the left. But
Yeah.
a lot of these comments that I'm reading, there's like a lot of criticism. Like politicians sure know how to waste our money. Like they're not idiots. Some of them get it. Some of them are idiots. I'll put it there. But like more bad news. It must be a Friday afternoon. Like this is not a place where lefties are well favored. Someone made the case of like they were like, that's money that we could have spent on, they were basically going like, oh yeah, we did. We spent 2.6 billion. But there's still a fuckload of teachers and police. And I'm like, okay, they're pro-public servants. That's interesting. But it doesn't seem to be that they're all championing this as a win because the government saved, I don't know, 150 million of the 300 million they set aside for a cancelled ferry. So therefore, the 671 million that we've just lost and spent on nothing is okay because it could have been 800 million. So it's interesting when I see, even if it's just a slither of dissent from your own side, it's I think that's when you start to see cracks like that. It's the same as what's happened in America. Like, there's a lot of people that have gone against Trump because he's not doing the things that he said he was going to do. And then even the people who have been like, shills and conformed are even breaking. So when you start to see that sort of stuff, you go, huh, interesting.
Oh
This
yeah.
doesn't
I
look
mean,
good for them.
there's a lot of people who are realizing they were lied to.
Yep. Government of fiscal responsibility. It's a very, very difficult throne to sit on, a podium to sit on, pedestal to sit on. One of those two.
I mean, if it's a
when you've
throne,
got
it's like a
this
toilet. So this is the kind of
true.
throne that this government's sitting on, is a fucking toilet, because it's a lot of shit coming out.